Vaginas.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, 24th of February. You're listening to Reason Speak. You're watching Reason Speak. My name is Sydney. I am also Ask an Atheist on Google Plus and on Facebook. And I'm reasonable.
Are you sure about that?
And Lou is reasonable.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't know if he's sure about that, but he did ask. Patrick with us today is a reasonable guy. Hello, Patrick. And I believe he's having dinner right now, but he'll be back. And we got Rob. Rob the reasonable. Hey,
how's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Oh, all right. I've unleashed Pandora's box.
Oh, no. Okay, so basically today, there's nothing happening in the news, really new. No new countries have been overrun by ISIS, and Russia hasn't invaded the Ukraine, and all this stuff. Very disappointing. But anyway, before the hangout, these Americans, the American part of, or the American contingent in our hangout here, were talking about the president of their country. I'm going to let you listen in a little bit. Carry on, guys.
Right. Listening. Oh, yeah. Oh, there was news this morning. Congress is trying to pass the XL pipeline again, or legislation. So that's speculated to be an automatic veto. So, yeah. Do you guys know about the XL pipeline, right?
Yep.
I know the Canadian side of it.
Right, with all your dirty tar sands.
I'm not sure. There's a couple of we've got a pipeline project happening up here, but it doesn't. The one I know of goes from Alberta to the coast of British Columbia. You guys must be thinking of hooking up another pipeline from Alberta to somewhere on an American border, on the U.S. border somewhere.
No, they want to run. The Republicans want to run the fucking pipeline straight down the middle of our farmland, all the way to fucking Texas or some shit like that.
I think it's to the Gulf, so they can ship it or something, whatever. But the question is, then that means in Alberta there'll be two major pipelines, one sort of heading west and one heading south.
Yeah, that's what they want.
Wow.
But it's going to get vetoed.
I thought it already went through and everything.
No, that's I think they were submitting that or sending it to the executive branch this morning or some crap. So I don't even know if anything's happened. But it's going to get vetoed. For one, it's unconstitutional because it violates our treaties with the Indian nations, and it would poison our frickin' farmland. So yeah, that's not going to happen.
Well, then, if that's the case, then how come it's got so much support up to this point?
Because Republicans don't care about the environment; they care about their money.
Right, and they're lying. They're saying it creates jobs, and I'm sure most people watching this know that the jobs created is in the just a couple dozen. So that's a total lie too.
How can that be? If you're building a pipeline from Texas to the U.S.-Canadian border, that's not just a couple of hundred jobs.
Yeah, no. After it's built, though, we talk about permanent jobs, not temporary jobs.
Oh, so, I don't think you can predict. You can really predict anything. No, I don't think you can predict that with any measure of accuracy.
Yeah, you can, because you know what kind of people you're going to hire for maintenance and monitoring and shit like that, and they only want to hire a couple dozen people, which means zero maintenance and monitoring, basically.
Yeah, but there'll be maintenance and monitoring points along the way, and
no, they don't want those. That's one of the main problems with it.
Well, wherever these maintenance and monitoring sites are along the way, along the pipeline, they'll be feeding the local economy through
No,
the
no,
through what the people who
no.
live in there
No,
make.
they're only going to hire in their plan a couple dozen people for a pipeline that runs half the length of a continent.
So who makes the final decision on that?
The president right now, it's it's on his desk.
So basically, what you're saying is the king of Saudi Arabia makes the final decision. This is really what I'm hearing. Am I right?
No, no, no. Canadian oil,
No.
Saudi oil are totally different.
Well, you just said that if everything's going to get vetoed, the pipeline between the U.S. and Canada is going to get vetoed. There's going to be no pipeline. So the U.S. will be buying Saudi oil as usual. So
No, we're already net exporting right now already. America is actually producing more frickin' petroleum products than the Middle East right now.
Really?
Yeah, we're the #1 exporter of refined oil
Then why do we need Saudi Arabia so much then?
because we sell our oil to the oil companies. They buy it, they refine it, and then they sell it back to us.
Oh, I see.
We don't actually sell it. What we do is we rent them the land for pennies per whatever. It amounts to basically a few bucks at the federal level. So
Okay, I had the impression we're getting our oil from Saudi Arabia.
well, what happens is they buy it, and they buy our oil, they buy Canada's oil, they buy Saudi Arabia's oil, and then they just sell it to whoever's buying.
I see.
Yes, we're getting ripped off no matter which way we look at it. Everybody is actually, everybody in the world.
Do you know I think we should stop helping? And I don't know if you guys are gonna hate me for this, but we should really stop helping Israel. Like, why are we constantly indebted to that country? Seriously.
well, I'm actually very seriously pro-Israel. So um, I I I wouldn't really have a really good argument for you. There's no reason to stop helping Israel.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's
just
my
think
agree.
that. Well, I say this because we lend them money. Well, we give them money, and they don't even pay us back. And like, I'm sorry, but World War II was like what, 70 years ago?
We
I
don't
mean,
pay them for that. We give them foreign aid.
right. Which I
We
have no problem with, but I just don't think we should be indebted to them forever. That's all I'm saying.
we are America is not indebted to
How do you
Israel.
mean indebted to them? We're as much I mean, the United States is as much indebted to Israel as it is to Egypt and Jordan, for that matter, in terms of foreign aid.
No, Israel owes us, and they owe us
Well,
everything.
That's what I'm saying.
America created Israel. America funds Israel, and Israel basically, if they don't do what we say, they'd be screwed. Unfortunately, we have leadership that does the exact opposite of what they should be doing, which is they do what Israel says instead of the other way around.
not necessarily. Israel should. There's a lot that Israel should be doing that she doesn't do because of the political angle. Um, and I disagree with a lot of the way the Israeli prime ministers have handled their country.
Yeah, well, they have turned the Palestinians into a slave nation to begin with. Israel is basically has the largest slave population in the world right now, unless Africa's got more.
I think that is a gross overstatement, understate. That's just a gross lie, actually.
No, it's actually
Israel has not one slave.
yeah. All of Palestine is
I'll
there.
tell you who's got slaves in Israel. The religious Jews and the religious Muslims, their wives. Those are the slaves in Israel.
No, here's how it is. Palestine is completely isolated. They're completely walled in. Palestine is basically a prison. They don't even have concrete. They don't have medicine. They don't have schools, hospitals, nothing, because Israel has blocked everything from going in there.
That's
And the
because they shoot rockets out of Palestine into Israel. That's why.
what?
They shoot rockets from Palestine into
They've
Israel.
been oppressed for decades. If Israel would stop being an evil bitch,
No, no. Excuse me, in 2005, the Hamas political faction went to war against the Fatah political faction or military faction, whatever, in Palestine and kicked them out. And since then, Hamas has been the ruling party in Palestine, and
no, not right now.
yeah, right now,
No,
absolutely.
they have a two-party system right now.
Are they
How-
still at war with each
No.
other? Because I meet them like 6, 7 months ago. There was like all over the news. They were like attacking each other.
No,
This is what happened. Israel used to be occupy Palestine. Okay, the Gaza Strip.
they are stealing Palestine, is what they're doing.
No, the Gaza Strip. They used to occupy that. They left the Gaza Strip to give the Palestinians back their land and say, "Yeah, here you go, make something of it." But instead of what he said, the Palestinians became the Palestine or the Gaza Strip became very, very, very militant, very, very anti-Israel, and started
Hold on,
manufacturing and let me finish here and shooting rockets indiscriminately over into Israel. That was intolerable. It went on for years until it blew up last summer. But I still think Israel did the wrong thing. They should have gone in and literally taken Hamas out.
Okay, ready? I'm going to screen share this, and hopefully it's large enough for everyone to see.
All right. All you un-Americans, stop talking about American politics.
Oh, look! A revolving ball of fiery gas.
Here we go.
What you got going there?
Okay, I think I have to minimize. Can you see this map up here?
Yeah, I've seen that map before. It's an absolute lie.
No, it is not a lie. This
It's
is
totally
what
a lie.
they're doing. This right here, 2010. You see that? Do you see how Israel surrounds all that's left of Palestine? Palestine is a slave nation right now.
No. Firstly, that was never Palestine. The very first one to the left there was in 1946.
Yeah, that was before.
That 1946 is right. That very first one, 1946.
That's when Israel became a state.
That is an absolute. It's a hoax.
No, it is not a hoax.
Yes,
that is
it
the
is
land
a
of
hoax.
Palestine.
It's a hoax.
Every
Because 1946 was British mandate.
No, that was before the treaties for World War II. See, 1947.
There was
1947.
World War II ended in 1945, and I believe Israel became a state like a year to 2 years later.
1948, I think. But 1946, Britain still had the mandate over Palestine. Now, Palestine also included what was across the river, which was called Transjordan, which is actually Jordan today. So that was the whole. Excuse me, hold on a second. That was the whole of Palestine. What you see as Palestine there right now, it was called Jewish Palestine. Transjordan, which is on the east side of the Jordan River, was called Arab Palestine. That was the original agreement.
Look, there was no Israel before the World War II treaties. It did not exist.
There was no Palestine.
It did not exist. It was all Palestine. And we in the West, yes, this is history.
You don't have a clue about your history again.
Yes, I do. We in the West, after World War II, we said, you know what? Because all these Jews got killed, we are going to take all this land over here, fuck the people that already live there, and we're going to call it Israel and give it to the Jews. That's what happened.
That is so untrue.
Really? Who lived there before it was Israel?
Yes.
Who lived on that land before it was Israel?
When? What? Give me some kind of a when. When was before it was Israel?
Before the
1946.
treaty that
In
created
1946, you want to know who lived on that land?
who lived there before Israel was a nation?
There were Jews, and there were Arabs, and there were Bedouin.
Right, and was it called Israel? What was the government before the 1948 whatever, whenever Israel was created?
The
Well,
government was
all we
Britain.
really need to do is Google when did Israel become a state. That's all we need to do.
No, the government was Britain because Britain had the mandate.
See, and since then, since Israel's been a nation, they have done nothing but steal land. They are land.
You know, I can't believe that you're so ignorant about Israel.
No, it's not ignorant. I just showed you the map.
That map is a hoax.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is. What you? How do you? How are you convinced that all that black is Palestinian, is Jewish or whatever, and all that little white? It's just a little white.
I don't need a map. I can go look at the news. I can watch in real time the walls that Israel is building. They're building walls like they had in Germany. That's what they're doing there. And
actually, you don't know, but they're building walls to keep the terrorists out.
Okay, guys, look. On May 14, 1948, the day before the expiration of the British Mandate, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the Jewish state as Eretz Israel to be known as the State of Israel. And this happened in 1948.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure, because I'm listening to you guys go back and forth here, I'm not sure what Israel was prior to 1948. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'll tell you. From a few hundred years ago until 1914, that area was governed by the Ottoman Empire, okay, the Turks. From, I don't know, 18 or 1400 and something, I don't know, but hundreds of years, 300 years exactly, approximately, I don't know. But up until 1914, it was governed by the Ottoman Turks. Nobody had a problem. Nobody called it Palestine, and nobody, you know,
it wasn't
nobody gave a shit about it. It was just a place in Ottoman Turkey. It was a province, I guess, of Ottoman Turkey.
So what right did the Western world have of saying, guess what, we're just going to make this a brand new nation with brand new...
Israel was given
Well, you've got to understand that the British Empire at its height actually defeated the Ottoman Empire to take Palestine and Syria and you know, the whole Lebanon and everything away from the Ottoman, because the Ottoman Empire collapsed.
Okay, well, you're not making the story any better for you.
Israel.
Yes, I am, because the people who live there.
Now Israel is just a relic of Western imperialism, which we know fucks up everything it touches.
Well, you got to understand that Israel now didn't just appear; it appeared over time.
No, it appeared as a legal mandate from World War II.
Yes, because what happened was because Israel became a state.
But hold on a second, guys. You got to understand that, like I said, it was under Turkish Ottoman rule for hundreds of years. There were Arabs who owned the land, who sold land to the Jewish agency through the 20s and the 30s, you know, at inflated prices, because they weren't living there. It was just non-arable land. They just owned land which didn't do anything, so they sold it to Jews at an inflated price to make some money, and then the Jews owned the land. I mean, that was very simple. I don't understand what's the problem.
I think what Lou's trying to say is that because of the suffering that Jews went through during the Nazi Holocaust, during World War II, that the United States the United States and Britain gave Israel their own state.
And the Soviets.
Right, for reparations for their suffering.
Okay, cool.
Right now,
so
has become what they
That was
hate.
the case. Sorry.
Israel is what they hated. Israel is doing to the Palestinians exactly what Germany did to the Jews.
And I'm just saying that Israel owes us a lot of money, which they have not paid back.
What? Hold on a second. Israel was formed in 1948, you said.
Yes.
And where was Palestine at the time?
They stole all that land and then just renamed it Israel and said, "Okay, Jews, this is your country."
Okay, so the West Bank is what? The West Bank is Palestine or what?
I just showed you the map. There is almost no Palestine left. The Jews have.
Will, can you put the map back up, please?
Oh God, I'd have to go freaking Google it again.
Well,
That map. The map is totally false. It's totally false.
Okay,
Prove that
so
the map is false.
what map would help you?
Prove that the map is false. Sure, bring it up, and I'll go find a map that proves it's false.
You have to show me evidence that the Jews are not stealing all the land of Palestine.
Okay, Sydney, do us a favor and find us a map that you think is accurate.
Yeah. Because right now
I don't know anything about the politics. I do know that the Palestinians have a tiny piece of land left at the edge of the damn water, and it's probably no bigger than one of our smaller states, and it's ridiculous. I know that. I don't know the validity of that map. I know very little about. I know less about that area and those politics than any of you three. So,
well, I'm
we'll
just
ask
saying
Sydney
that
for a
Israel
map
has
that he
become
thinks
a
is more
pet for the
accurate.
United States. Israel has become the United States' pet.
Yeah, well.
Okay, I'll just.
But I just want to ask Sydney.
I'll just wait until you guys catch up on a little bit of history, because you obviously are very are lacking. And
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't discuss with somebody who doesn't know anything about the subject.
Okay, but I'm asking you because I know less than any of you three actually, and you're insisting that the other map is no good. I thought maybe if you can provide us with a map that you think is good.
Well, let's look at that other map first, and I'll show you that map.
While they're showing that, can you find one too?
Yeah, you need if you don't like this map, you need to find one to refute it then.
All right, then I'll go and find one to refute it, because I happen to have one.
Hey, you guys said you wanted a topic. Look, I gave you one.
There is just no reason to not believe this. If you don't like the map, you can go to probably the World Health Organization.
That's a terrible map.
The UN.
A map that says nothing, proves nothing, and is a hoax.
Lou, what is your source? What is your source for your map?
Oh, there's tons of links. They're all the same though.
Oh, I was gonna ask you what your source was. I'm trying to learn here, and I want to know what. One guy is saying that map is bogus, and you're saying it's not, and I'm like, okay, what's your source? And I'm asking the other one to come up with his own, and I don't know anything about these things, so I was trying to.
I'm looking at a whole bunch of different ones, and they're from all different websites.
So that same one you had before.
Well, when you Google it, it doesn't always come up the same. I'm not getting the same ones. I want to get a good, reputable site. In fact, the best thing to do would just play the dang YouTube video of it.
Do that, then that's fine.
Right here, let me get it. And it's only this. This is not the one I wanted. No, go ahead. Have you found a map that shows you what you think the land of Palestine is?
Yes, I have actually. Here it is.
Then show it.
All right. Okay. Relax. Calm down, huh? All right. Here it is.
Hold on. Is it up? That's what you think Palestine is.
Okay, now this is the British mandate. This is Palestine under the British mandate. Okay, what and in the 1946, 1947, Britain pretty much said, "Fuck it, I'm out of here. I don't want to do this anymore because there's too much shit. You know, the Arabs and the Jews are killing each other. We don't want. That's out of control."
Well,
So they
when
said, "Fuck it." They gave it to the United Nations, and the United Nations voted on what to do with it. And while they were voting, you know, all as part of how to sort of apportion it all, they came up with this plan where this white part here would be called Transjordan. That's everything to the east of the Jordan River. And then on what's west of the Jordan River, they were going to give the brown part to the Arabs, and then the green part here to the Jews. Okay, so that's the whole of Palestine. So what happened was the Britain left. They said they're out of here, and as soon as they were out of here, Israel declared itself a state, and at the same time, all the countries around Egypt and Saudi Arabia and Libya and Syria and Iraq and all that, they attacked.
Well, wait a second.
Hold on. They attacked this new state of Israel to eliminate them. However, unfortunately for them, Israel happened to not be repelled. They actually kept a whole bunch of the land, and that land that they kept at the ceasefire lines in 1948 or 49, whenever, that became the state of Israel. Which looks different to this because of the battle.
So my question is you said that Israel made itself a state. I thought the United States and Britain ordained them a state.
it was the UN
No.
and Warsaw.
The British left. The British left. Israel. The United States had voted for the United Nations had voted for Israel to exist as a state.
But my original argument wasn't so much about the territoriality of it. My original argument that I presented before we started going on about this was the fact that Israel's our pet. We've been like helping them forever, and they don't even pay us back. That's my argument.
What do you get that they don't pay us back?
I've heard several.
I think they spent a lot more money in Iraq, a lot more money in Afghanistan than they ever spent on Israel, and who's paying us back from them?
Well, I don't know. I think we give billions of dollars to Israel. I'm not. I can Google how much we give to them. Hang on.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that money's going at least to.
But
it's well spent. Put it this way:
Right.
it's not going anywhere other than to what it's supposed to go to. So you shouldn't be complaining. Otherwise, you'd have terrorists on your doorstep, and then you'd be crying for Israel.
I'm just saying,
You'd wish they could give more money to Israel so they could defend you.
right. But if you were giving money to somebody and they weren't paying you back, wouldn't you be a little upset about it?
Not really.
I got a video clip of exactly what Israel's been doing.
Let's see. Let's see the propaganda.
There's no propaganda here.
There's propaganda. Okay.
No, there's not. There's no propaganda.
Reuters, quote, Israel announced on Sunday a land appropriation in the
And this was right after the most recent ceasefire. So for context or for the time frame.
occupied West Bank, termed the biggest in 30 years, drawing Palestinian condemnation and a U.S. rebuke. So in layman's terms, what that means is Israel is going to steal land in the West Bank. They're going to expand their settlements. Right after you get a ceasefire, they go, yeah, let's do something to totally undo the ceasefire.
I don't know what the legalities of playing this video is.
Palestinians are so angry at the Israelis. I mean, I guess the only reason is because Israel is a democracy and they hate democracy. And I guess the only reason is that they're just crazy, backwards Islamists. It's got nothing to do with that occupation thing, how they keep expanding into their territory. Quote, some 988 acres in a Jewish settlement block near Bethlehem were declared state land on the instructions of the political echelon by the military-run civil administration. 988 acres. They're just going, yeah, thanks, we'll take that. Step aside, Palestinians, we're going to take that now. But here's my favorite part, Israel's reasoning. Quote, Israel has said construction of the settlement would not constitute the establishment of a new settlement because the site is officially designated a neighborhood of an existing one several miles down the road. They're not even bothering to try to sugarcoat it. That's the most bullshit reasoning I've ever heard in my life. In other words, they're going, yeah, we're going to take this part over here because we have that part over there. That's like me going down the block to a neighbor's house, knocking on the door with a shotgun and saying, thanks, I'll take this. And they go, wait, why? That doesn't make
I think that gets the point across. That is what Israel has been doing for the past couple of decades.
Okay, but first, Lou, I want to tell you.
Hold on a sec.
Wait,
Carry on.
First of all, I don't know what the legalities of sharing that video.
Patrick, hold on a minute.
Hangout is.
Patrick,
and also,
hold on
and also
a minute.
it was a.
Patrick, can you hear me, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm trying to tell him that.
I'm trying to get you to hold on a minute, so that I just want to say that before we actually get to responding to this video, I need to tell you guys that we run a program called Reason Speak. Now, Reason Speak is hosted on SecularTv. SecularTV promotes unique and interesting content while focusing on a variety of diverse ideas that appeal to various groups in the secular community. But with that in mind, I want to respond to this.
Hold on. Wait. Okay, fight. Okay. Good.
All right, Patrick, go ahead. I was trying to say this while he was playing the video. I'm trying to do you a favor, Sydney. I'm trying to say that the legalities. I'm trying to say that the legalities of sharing that video in a live hangout may be questionable, especially considering the source it was from and the way he was talking and the one-sidedness of it.
The sharing of that picture
now it's already done.
Copyright.
It's news. You can show news.
Come on, don't worry about it, Patrick. Really, really. Now you're getting silly.
We're sidetracking from the issue here.
Yes, we were actually holding a rally for the support of Israel. Remember?
And yeah, I think you're on the losing side of that one, since Israel is nothing but a bunch of land thieves.
Okay, so this is where you get your information from. I've never seen that guy before. I've never seen that guy. Ooh, that looks good. What's that? Good. Yeah, there we go. So at the end of fighting in '48, that became the new borders. Okay, so from 1948, see with the West Bank, that's Jordan. From 1948 until 1967, that West Bank, that huge chunk of the West Bank, was actually Jordan. Okay, well, and then that little
Palestine. Now it's gone.
Yeah, dude. If you attack my country and my country beats you and you flee, I win.
Oh, wait a second. Back in World War II, we bombed the hell of Germany, though we didn't take over Germany.
Now, if you go back to the map.
What do you mean we didn't take over Germany?
We built them. It's not like the United States.
So what? Who did we take over? Who did we take over?
We didn't take over anything. We liberated.
Exactly. So what do you mean we didn't take over Germany? Who cares?
Well, what I'm saying Sydney, is we went over to Germany and we bombed the crap out of them, but we didn't take over their country. We liberated.
No, because we were defending ourselves against their attacks everywhere else. And
right.
Okay, that's a different story.
So I don't know if Germany.
In the first place, this entire piece of land here is smaller than one of our states.
Dude, there's a map of Israel on the screen, and you're talking about Germany. Like it's not Germany, it's Israel.
I was giving that as an example of we didn't go grab Germany's land, like Israel's.
Well, why don't we just talk about this map? That's
fine. I apologize.
Let's just stick to if it's a map of Israel on the screen. Let's talk about the map of Israel on the screen because I get very confused.
Sydney, you got a black screen.
I don't know. I have a black screen.
Screen sharing.
No.
Well, I see a map of Israel and Palestine. Oh, okay.
No, that's his profile. He put that on as the profile.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
No, it's just lagging because I turned that off long ago.
Okay.
Lag. Lag. But what we were talking about.
I'll tell you what I think. And why I don't think any of this is a land grab is because that whole map, including the West Bank, is all Israel anyway.
No, it is not.
It is.
It is not.
Because they won it in war when they were attacked. They won it. It's theirs.
No.
From their point of view alone.
It was an unlawful attack. That's called a war crime.
An unlawful attack to defend yourself? I don't think so.
They were not defending themselves. Israel has been. They admitted it. Israel admits that they're stealing land. And that is why everybody attacks Israel, because Israel is the bad guy in the neighborhood. Israel is the guy going around setting everybody's houses on fire. All right? Israel is the bully in the
You really need to get out more. In fact, I would suggest you go on a tour of Israel and Jordan.
Why would I go to a third world shithole?
Oh, you might just be surprised. It might be pleasantly surprised.
I lived in the desert already. I am never going back.
Wait, Iraq, Iran,
yeah,
Syria. That's not quite the same as Israel.
A desert is a desert, and I'm not going back to one.
Actually, Israel is not. Israel is made up of different topographies. There's desert, there's mountainous, there's coastal, and there's region, there's flat inland, and there's all sorts of shit, man. There's even a mountain with snow on it.
So how can you deny that Israel is stealing land when they admitted it themselves that they are stealing land? Israel said we're stealing land.
No, show me who said that.
I just showed you. That was what they were saying in the video. Israel
that young kid who I've never seen before in my life with no logo behind him to signify who he's working for. Why should I trust anything? Why should I trust anything he says?
I think he works for the Young Turks because in that video I saw TYT, which means the Young Turks.
Okay, well the Young Turks are violently anti-Israel. Anyway,
No, they are not.
Yes, they are.
They're not. They're American liberal.
That or whatever the hell his name is, the guy who usually runs TYTs, he's violently anti-Israel.
Really? Show me a video where he's saying anti-Israel things.
Well, yeah.
I watched those guys.
The last time I heard him talk, I used to watch him a lot, and then an Israeli-Palestinian thing came up, and then he was when he was reporting wrong. He didn't know what he was talking about, and I haven't watched him since.
No, he was reporting things that you didn't feel like hearing because they go against the story.
Oh my goodness! I can't believe it.
I think you turned your camera off.
Perfect. That they can do no wrong in the world. Because that's the story, and it's just a story. Israel is the bad guys right now.
Israel. You're damn lucky that Israel's there.
The bad guys, the same way America is the bad guys in Iraq and Afghanistan.
He's right there. I'll give him that.
I'm more of a supporter of America than you Americans are.
Sydney, I think you turned your camera off.
All right. Can I interject something here? Lou is absolutely right because we went over.
Whoa, is my camera on or off?
Come on. Can I just say? We went over to Iraq and we bombed the shit out of Iraq back in 2000.
Is my camera on or off?
It's off.
But we did that for no reason at all. Like we did it for no reason because
Is my camera on or off?
I told you it is off.
I've been saying that you have a black screen. Your camera is off.
Okay, my camera to me is
I've been
fine.
saying it. I don't know why you don't let me tell you
Because
things.
no, I asked you if my camera was on or off, and I had two people talking to me at the same time, and
I
I
told you before you have a black screen, but you didn't believe me.
yeah, it's not that I didn't believe you. I wanted to confirm it. That's all.
Yeah.
You
We can-
guys are being unreasonable.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right, I'm going to. What do you see now? Do you see Secular TV?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what do you see now?
Now you're there. Hi,
Oh.
Cindy. How you doing?
Hello.
Long time no see.
I still see about Darius. Now, can I just quickly say what I wanted to say?
I'm sorry for muting you, but I.
Okay, it's fine. I just want to explain something to you, okay?
Yeah.
Back in 2003, George W. Bush, our former president, issued an invasion of Iraq, okay? And he did it because he said for two things. Number one, that Saddam Hussein was a threat to the United States because Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction. Okay. Number two is the Bush and Cheney administration repeatedly said that Iraq had a hand in 9/11. Now, if you read the 9/11 reports, that has already been debunked. Now, the president has sent over people to investigate. Well, after the height of the war, we went over there and we found no weapons of mass destruction whatsoever. So basically, the United States went over there and bombed a country that was a sovereign nation for no reason at all on false pretenses. And that's what I think.
Oh, that's such crap. That is such crap. If
Dude,
you
I can
need
show
anything,
you documents. I can show you documents of the 9/11 report if you don't believe me.
Sydney, it's true. Even General Powell was pissed off because he found out that the mass destruction weapons were not there. However, what they did do was they followed the money. There was money coming from Iraq that was actually being used. Nevertheless, you
guys know nothing about Saddam Hussein.
They called it weapons of mass destruction that were not there.
It doesn't matter. Saddam Hussein needed to go under any pretext.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The guy was gassing his own people.
Under any pretext. When we say weapons of mass destruction, sure.
Right, but do you know what we found? We found canisters of expired mustard gas. That's all we found.
Do you know what else happened? Saddam Hussein was deposed. Woohoo! That was the whole idea, wasn't it?
But I'm not saying Saddam Hussein was not a bad man. He was, but you don't
so
go.
So then, what are you defending him for?
I'm not
Sydney.
I'm not defending him. I'm saying that you don't go over to a country and bomb and make war with the country on false pretenses.
Right. It was. They used George Bush found an excuse to go over there. And that's what hurts the most. It's if he said I'm going to go over there. Listen. If he said I'm going over there because he's fucking with the people and he's a total scumbag and he needs to go, I would have said go for it. But when he started using excuses that did not exist, he needed an excuse to go in there, and he used the excuse that it was weapons of mass destruction. There was a big thing made over it. He even had his generals and stuff, Powell included, sucked into it. And later, Powell got on in the Senate and he spoke out. He said this was a lie, and I was fooled, and he was pissed.
Well, that's not the first time that's happened. Let's face it. At the end of the Second World War, at the beginning of the Second World War, when Britain declared war on Germany, it was because because they were committed to help Poland defend its sovereignty. So when Germany attacked Poland, Britain was committed to declare war against Germany. But at the end of the war, was Poland's sovereignty intact? No. It became part of the Soviet Union.
The whole World War thing is a completely and totally different story. Here was a country. Here was Hitler.
Oh, of course.
But you know
it's
what?
a whole different story.
But you know what?
War is war. No. War is not war. If war doesn't involve Israel, then it's a different
Sydney,
story. But if it
Sydney.
involves
But here's the
Israel,
You know what the World War was about? It was about it was a World War because we had to find allies to defend what was going on. So it's a whole different story. And I'm not saying things weren't wrong. I don't even know the history that well. But
okay,
it is a completely different story.
Patrick is right
you
about
know what I
one
think?
thing.
You know what I think we found? I think we found an ongoing segment to every single Reason Speak every single week, and that's going to be everybody's going to start updating themselves. They're going to read, and present their arguments, present, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get to the bottom of this if we have to be reasonable or if we have to be extra reasonable, but we're going to get to the bottom of it.
But here's the thing. Patrick's right about one thing, okay? There was
Oh, Patrick's right about science.
Hold on, let me explain why Patrick's right. There was money to be made in this war in Iraq. Dick Cheney alone, and you can Google this yourself, Sydney, if you don't believe
Oh, yeah, don't know how to do it.
listen, Dick Cheney made $39.9 billion off of the war in Iraq and Halliburton. You could,
So what? So what? You jealous?
that's war
You
profiteering.
jealous? So
That's,
what?
no, it's
So
war profiteering.
what?
It's war
Actually,
profiteering.
I wasn't talking about people making money off it. I was talking about following the terrorists.
Lives are a lot more.
There was money coming out of Iraq going towards the terror, because I mean Afghanistan needed to be taken care of because they came
Yes,
in over
and
there,
I
they
totally
were
slammed some planes into our towers and all that stuff.
They were
But the
not.
continuation going into Iraq, Bush needed an excuse to go in there. However, following the money, I assure you, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't be absolutely sure, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of the money that the terrorists were using was coming from Iraq, and
Absolutely.
but they couldn't go in there saying that for some reason. Politics says that I have to have a better.
Because the United Nations.
Let's say that he has weapons of mass destruction. That's why we're going over there.
Guys,
That's what they would all agree to. Nothing
guys,
else.
Iraq was a complete fabrication. The money, Iraq had nothing to do with terrorism. Saddam was a secular dictator who did not tolerate religious nut jobs in his country. The money for all the terrorists from Afghanistan came from Saudi Arabia.
That's for most of the 19 hijackers and 9/11 were Saudis.
They're citizens. They were citizens from Saudi Arabia. The money came from one of the royal families. I'm not sure which one, but
It was the Bin Laden group.
What's behind the ISIS these days? Then who's funding that?
oh,
Saudi Arabia.
it don't matter.
ISIS is a product of George W. Bush destabilizing the country.
ISIS is being wiped off the map by Egypt as we speak, so they're kind of irrelevant.
Right.
In Saudi Arabia and Iraq, you mean, or where?
Wherever ISIS, no, they're like in Syria.
Well, I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette, and I hope when I come back, the subject completely changes.
Okay. Okay. Let me just understand. Egypt is wiping ISIS off the map in Iraq and in Syria.
No, just Syria. I don't know. I think it's just from the Syria part.
Egypt, really?
Egypt is because ISIS. Some of those people, the last time they were cutting heads off, were Egypt citizens. So Egypt doesn't fuck around.
And nor should they.
They're a military dictatorship right now, so they can react rapidly.
Yes.
But,
So
yeah.
about back to the original subject that we were talking about before we became live. We were talking about this Obama and how. Oh, you were mentioning how he did so great. How he was job creation and budget balancing and stuff like that. What?
That's why he's a failure, because he balances the budget and he's created jobs.
I see. Now, how did he screw that up?
Well, he created jobs, and Republicans hate that. And
Okay.
and he's reducing our budget deficit, and they hate that too.
Okay. So what should be done? What should we do?
What?
I'm actually quite happy with what Obama's been doing.
Well, yeah, he should keep failing like the Republicans say he is.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything important. Like he didn't say, fuck off with this anti-abortion with with all this anti-abortion bullshit. It's done. Forget it. Fuck
That's
it. Leave it alone. He
Yeah.
didn't say, okay, you know what, the homosexual issue that you have with the marriage and stuff. It's such childish, just bullshit. Leave it alone. He didn't do any of that.
Well, that's because it's not his job. That's a Supreme Court job,
Not his
not
job.
an executive branch job. It's two different.
Very much his job. Very much his job.
Well, see, you know, the president is only a figurehead. He doesn't like make the laws. It's Congress that makes the laws. It's Congress and the Senate that makes the laws. If the president doesn't like something that comes to his desk, he can veto it. What?
You have to stop. You have to change. You have to become fucking parliamentarians or something, because your Congress and the three House, three parts system just does not work with this 200-year-old constitution. You gotta do something. You gotta come back to the Queen. Come on, come back.
Well, you know, people were saying if America had remained a part of England, that everybody in America would have free healthcare right now.
How true. How damn true. Plus, they probably would still have India as well.
Well,
I just want to say something. We got a little heated in these conversations, but I like conversations like this because it really, I like listening to other people's viewpoints, and I don't mind, you know, I don't mind different viewpoints, and I don't mind different opinions. So I hope nothing was taken personal on that conversation.
I don't take anything on the internet personal, and
Right.
people that do we have any viewers right now, Sid?
Yeah, 5. Hi,
Awesome.
guys.
Yeah, cool.
Hi.
My thing is, I get bored and quit watching when it's a bunch of damn atheists agreeing about everything. So
Right.
on this show, I don't want agreements. I really.
Oh, we found Israel. We're gonna have lots to disagree about.
Well, I'm sorry, but I have to stay with Lou on Israel. No.
Okay,
offense.
okay, but let me set some not ground rules, but some premises. Okay, everything that I use for my evidence or for my reasons, for my backup, is based on history, is based on you know, just based on history and events in it. Okay, so just like I've accepted how the Roman Empire fought everybody, and they won some and they lost some, and if they won they took the land, if they lost the land, and this is the way it worked. The same thing happened with Israel, as far as I'm concerned. It was a war, you know, the winner takes the land and the loser loses the land, and so on and so forth.
Unfortunately for you, you're wrong, because we got these things called the laws of land warfare.
Damn, I'm wrong. Okay.
Treaty, and we have laws that make it illegal for nations to do these things.
Yeah,
War
what he's talking about is rules of engagement.
You see, when you start wars of aggression like that, you're violating.
Okay, I hadn't finished making my point though. We're just gonna. There's no religion. I don't want to get religion into this argument or into this discussion at all, because I don't hold to the religious. You know, God gave it to the Jews. All right.
Well, so far nobody's mentioned that.
No, but we don't.
Right.
But that's what it is all about. And
that's what it's
I'm
all
such
about. I understand that. That's what it's all about in the Orthodox Judaic history. Okay, whatever. But there's a secular history, and there's certainly a history of presence. But
Oh yeah.
but when it really comes down to it, when you go to war and your enemy is trying to annihilate you, but they can't, but they don't, because you're stronger than them and you push them back, that's the price you pay. You lose the land.
No, because might does not make right. That's the old world. We don't live in that world anymore.
But then going, okay, well, I tell you what, why don't you use that
Well,
rule.
can I
Use
just
that
say
rule on Ukraine right now. I mean, like Ukraine's losing territory like crazy to Russia.
Exactly, and Russia's going to get bitch slapped here pretty damn soon.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, I
can I just interject something? All right, look at what happened back in 1991. Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. Kuwait's a much larger country than Iraq. Now, basically, what Lou's saying is that might does not make right. Is that Saddam Hussein came down and tried to invade Kuwait. The United States said, no, 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 you cannot be doing that. And that's why we got involved in the first the Gulf War, the first Iraq wars, because we saw a little small country being bullied, and we as the United States, because Kuwait's part of the United Nations, they're our friends. We couldn't just let Saddam Hussein come down there and do that.
And they actually officially asked for our help.
Right.
Yeah, we have treaties as a part of the UN. It was upholding the treaty. You know, that's really not an issue.
All right, we're gonna have a party every week. We're gonna have an Israel party.
No, we're not, because
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I tell you
It's my
what.
weakest subject. I can't even verify what
I tell you what. I tell you what. How about if I present you evidence that Arabs who live in Israel and are Israeli citizens are quite happy? Thank you very much.
What?
I said, how about I give you evidence that Arabs, Muslims who live in Israel, who are born there and go to school there and everything, are quite happy living there and being part of the country and being equal to everybody else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you that back in the day there were some black slaves that thought picking cotton was just the greatest thing in the fucking world, but that doesn't make it right.
Okay, can you find me some written evidence of this, please?
Well, you know what? There is some truth to that, because if you look at the transcontinental slavery thing, where we brought blacks, like Negroes from Africa to the United States, we use those men as slaves. And you know what we did, and even Dusty did a video about this. What we did was we used the Bible to justify our slavery in the United States. That's what the slavers did. They used the Bible and justification of slavery in the Bible to enslave our fellow man.
Correct. So what's your point? So what's your point?
My point is that, yeah, I mean, just because somebody's happy doesn't mean they're being oppressed. Maybe they were happy because they were being fed.
Just because somebody's happy, it doesn't mean they're being oppressed. What the fuck?
No, listen. Okay.
Doesn't mean they're not being oppressed.
If you were being fed and clothed, wouldn't you be happy?
No.
Somewhat.
No, I'd be miserable as shit.
Okay, well, maybe, I'm sorry, maybe I just didn't say that right. I apologize.
If I cannot vote, if I cannot legally vote, if I cannot legally own my own land, own my own property, and go wherever the fuck I want to when I go outside my front door, I am not happy.
Life,
Okay,
liberty,
sorry,
and the
I
pursuit of happiness.
I apologize.
Listen, Sydney. Okay,
Patrick.
this country has been guilty of some really horrible things, but this is secular TV, not ancient history or even recent history. It's not. This show is supposed to be secular TV, so why don't we get on the secular TV subject?
Well, we haven't been talking about religion.
What secular TV subject are you referring to?
Any secular TV subject.
Then what?
We're talking about recent.
The subject was
U.S. history. Now we're talking about slavery. Now we're talking about.
The subject is the extreme dangers of smoking, of which you seem to be an expert at, because you disappear to smoke a cigarette in the middle of a live show. Patrick,
I smoke Winston. I smoke Winston. I smoke Winston, your namesake.
Anyway, the hour's up, guys, and I'm having a good time, and I'm prepared to go another 2 or 3 hours. Are you with me?
It's no problem. I'm just trying to fathom the idea of secular TV, and we're talking about now we're on this war subject. Now we're on this slavery of the black subject, and this is not.
Secular TV does not condemn talking about history.
No, and since it's brought up, then we're at the end of the show. We might as well say the main goal of secular TV is promoting free speech
Okay.
and defending free speech.
But it is. I'll segue into the religion. It is religion that is the root of the evils.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the slavery, the whole 9 yards.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know as much about the history as any of you, yet I just find it strange that we're talking about Israel, for example. I mean, it's just not something I can know about. Just don't know.
Well, you didn't want to talk about science. You wanted to go and smoke a cigarette.
You didn't say science. I walked out of here. You were talking about Obama.
He's not my president. I have no right to stop you talking about him. But next time, you know.
I'm trying to have some fun too.
We had the science segment all set up, and you go and you smoke a cigarette. What the fuck?
Yeah, we don't hold to a topic here, damn it.
Yeah, this is secular TV. You know, Patrick said that, secular TV. Okay, there's a quiz. There's a quiz.
I apologize for saying that stupid statement.
Okay, I'm gonna quiz you guys. What is the goal of secular TV, Rob?
Free speech.
No. The goal of secular TV is to help promote unique and interesting content while focusing on a variety of diverse ideas that appeal to various groups in the secular community. And having said that, if you have enjoyed the show today, while you watch,
enjoy the show today.
and you want to join in and be part of the panel,
Hello, secular TV. Hello, I am here. Hello, secular TV.
Oh, I
How
see.
are you doing tonight?
Very
Secular
good.
TV.
You're just in time to say goodbye, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Wait, hold on a second.
On Reason Speak. Oh,
Hi,
With that being
everybody.
said, the age of reason is upon you, so prepare, motherfuckers! Wait, hold on. Why is Lou back in, like, 12th century England right now?
I have a teleporter.
because he doesn't know better.
Wait, and what's Robbie Del Russo doing here? Oh, wait, hold on. What? And then, Sid, why are you black and white?
Wait. Robbie DeRusso.
Lou's back in time, and who's Patrick?
Firstly, I'm not black and white. What do you mean I'm black and white?
I'm a nobody.
Is that red and white flag, black and white?
Are you the voices? Are you the voices in my head, Patrick?
I don't know. Am I?
Are you the voices in my head?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Phelps, the neo-atheist,
Because
hiding behind a secular TV banner. What a coward!
Because I'm having the time of my life.
Oh no. Oh, okay, let's end it there.
He's obviously a little depressed.
Yeah, I think we can end it there, Sid. Take it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next week.